Alright, so we got it on there. I had to kind of lay it down, and then I had to flip it back up anyway to get it in there. So once you got it on there, then what you want to do, you need to take something, they use what's called a stitcher in the tire shops. I don't have one. I do have one on order, waiting for stuff to come in. So I'm going to improvise, and I'm going to use my handy dandy die grinder. So basically what you want to do is start in the middle of your repair. If anybody's ever laid linoleum or anything for floors, they'll know what I'm doing here. Basically just rolling it out, and you want to get all of the air bubbles and stuff out from behind it. So you just put a little bit of pressure on it. Start from the repair area and work your way out to your edges. A little bit of trapped air is going to be inevitable in behind, but you want as little as possible, because same thing, if you start getting air bubbles along your sides and stuff, that's going to be just another spot for air to seep out of. I don't know how well you can see that there. Alright, so I'm going to finish this, and then we'll pop back and I'll show you the finished repair, and then we'll throw it on and see if it's going to hold air. Alright, we're back. We got it all stitched down. I forgot to mention, you might have seen when I was putting that patch on, it had this plastic cover over top. You'll get a lot of patches that will either have this plastic on them, or they have like a foil back over top of them. And I don't know what the actual purpose of it is in manufacturing, but when I was doing tires, basically we used it as a guide. As you run your stitcher across, it leaves little track marks in it basically, so you know where you've covered. Then afterwards they just peel off. Most of them come with aluminum back, and as you're running your stitcher across it, it basically just works it up and it peels back, and it gives you an idea of where your work area is and what you've already covered, so you're not sitting there for 20 minutes trying to, well, did I get that corner, did I get that corner? So since we got it all stitched down, we know that we got all the corners. So that's our repair. Looks pretty good to me. Also want to mention, this is for, the reason I'm doing this is because this is an off-road tire on an ATV. It's not a high-speed tire on the highway. I'm not worried about it blowing apart and killing me or anything like that. Worst case scenario, this thing peels off and it starts leaking again. So you're still going to have your damage on the outside, but with the plies on the inside of that patch, that's going to stiffen up your sidewall. It's going to give you the support in the area that's broke. Now, I don't know if it would help you any if you stuck, say, a tire plug in there to kind of fill that in so it doesn't fill up with mud and stuff. But that vulcanizing cement on the patch and in the glue, that is going to chemically bond that rubber together. So basically give it a few days, and that's inside there is going to be sealed rubber again anyway. So nothing's going to get in between it and work through. You'd have to basically stick a pressure washer right inside there in order to pull it off. And I've even, doing tires when I was younger, if we ever did have to take them off, you had to grind the patch off. There was pretty much no way you could rip it off. It would just keep pulling apart. Alright, let's get this thing mounted, check it, and see if it's gonna hold, and hopefully it does. Be right back. Alright, so I got it all patched up. We're just gonna take a little bit of soapy water, poor man's mounting compound. I'm just gonna put it around there. All it does is just help it slide on so you don't tear the bead when you're remounting it. So, make sure we're putting this on the right way. And all we do, basically we just push it on, get the underside, I don't know, you won't be able to see it, just get the bottom bead halfway on, and just kind of give it a twist. It'll pretty much pop right on for you. Then you want to be careful where you just did your patch. You want to be careful of that area because you don't want to have to pry on it when you're trying to put it in. So we're going to start that part first. Basically just push her on. And it should pretty much just pop down around the bead for you. And we're just going to take our bar. You just have to get underneath the lip. Bring it back as close as you can to where the tire and the bead are meeting. You don't want to go halfway in between because you're going to then you put too much pressure on that corner when you're trying to tip it down, and it'll actually rip the cords in the bead. Some guys might have heard that before when they were doing their tires, a little Sounds like you're ripping a piece of cloth. That's actual cords inside the bead ripping that hurts your strength on your side wall. Alright. Now let's see if we can get some air into this critter. Probably going to have to pull the core out, but yeah. Give me half sec here. Alright, so we got the core out now, and we got her started seating. And this is another reason you want to use the soap in the water, because you don't want to fill them up too much. You just want enough so they pop back on the beads. There we go. Now we'll let the air back out. Another cool thing too, these little, here I'll turn that so you can actually hear it, these little four-way tools. Most guys look at them, they don't have a clue what they're for. What it is, it has a core remover on one side. I don't know how well you can see that. You've got a core remover on the top. The bottom piece is actually female, and that's for where the valve cap goes on to fix the threads on there in case you got mud or burrs or anything like that. The little pointed side to your left there is for actually pulling out broken. Sometimes you'll get the valve core will actually break off inside, and you need to extract it. It's basically like a bolt extractor. And then the other side is to fix the threads where the core threads into it, in case you got one that's kind of gummed up or something like that, or you've got it hit by rocks or whatever. So we're just going to put that core back in there, and then we'll top her back up to the proper PSI rating, and we'll check her for leaks. Alright, so we got it all mounted up. We got 4 PSI in there. Another reason for the soapy water, besides just mounting it, is you can dump it on top of your repair afterwards. And if there's any air leaks at all, that soap's going to suds up. Oh yeah, we got enough in there. So dump it on there. And if you see, because all that water is going to go down into those grooves, if you see any bubbles coming out, you know you got a leak. So everybody says we're good. Another good thing to do too, especially on ATV tires, I forgot to mention that too before, clean your beads off of the rim and the tire, because you get mud and stuff that'll get jammed inside there. Oh, sorry. Can you see now?
No. Like.
Yeah. Anyway. Good. I forgot to mention before too, run some of that soap around the outside, and make sure you clean your beads up on the rim and on the tire, because what will happen is you'll get mud that'll jam in there, and then after a while, flex and stuff like that, it actually hardens up in behind there, and you'll actually get bead leaks too. So just dump some of the water on there, check around it. If you don't see any bubbles, you're good there. Sometimes you got to move some of the bubbles away that were there when you dump the water on. You'll see them if they're leaking. And then the same thing on the other side. You want to just dump a little bit on there. Remember, it's just water, it's not going to do anything. Then you just check around and see if you got any bubbles popping up from your beads. Looks good. So that's how we do a repair on an ATV tire with a sidewall split without using plugs. And this is going to be a better repair than plugs too, because now we've got the reinforcement from the actual plies in the new patch. And the reason I did this, another reason I did this, is most tire shops won't fix sidewall rips, especially in this case where it was just about 3 inches long. They would have just thrown it in the garbage. Well, this unit has got 65 hours on it, and if I do it in another 120 hours and I would have bought a new tire, that would have been like $400 worth of tires in a few weeks. So not feasible for me, probably not feasible for most of you if you're looking at this video on how to do it yourself. So there it is, repair. And all you can do is try it out after that. Thanks for watching the video. Subscribe to the channel. And keep in touch. We'll probably have some more tech videos here as I break more stuff. Thanks.